Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the first edition, the very first week of Michael and Mo, the talk show where we recap every single Overwatch League week. Starting off with the very first week, of course. You guys didn't even know this was coming, something I've been planning on to do with my good friend Motorius, which you guys have heard of. He did the documentary on the Philadelphia Fusion University.
Check
that out, by the way. And what's up, Mo? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm excited to be here. But first off, I just gotta say, what in the hell are you wearing? You have some audacity to start off this interview.
Hey!
You have a London jersey.
Got a rep.
What's that hat?
Champions, baby! Champions!
Is that a Dallas Fuel hat?
Hey, let's go Fuel!
Oh my god.
Let's go Fuel!
You have some
AKM,
audacity.
baby! AKM!
Yeah, but what were you saying last night? What were you saying last night? They're going to get destroyed by Seoul Dynasty? Now
Sorry, I had to take a drink from my nice London Spitfire glass.
It is nice.
Tastes like champions. Champions.
Nah, but I know honestly, I am excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me here.
Welcome onto the channel. Everybody should go check out Mo's stuff. We'll talk about that at the end. But today we're going to be breaking down the Dallas Field matchup yesterday, going up against Seoul Dynasty. Shocker. Big shocker that they did take that home. I know a lot of you guys want to know what I have to think about that. Mo's going to give his opinion, and we'll be moving on. Of course, we'll be talking about the London Spitfire. Disastrous week one? Yeah, maybe. We'll talk about that. Moving on to the second topic, we will be discussing how good is the Atlanta Reign and Hangzhou Spark, and who is better? So we'll be discussing that. And then the fourth topic, we do have the LA Valiant. Where's Custa? What's going on over there in Los Angeles in gold? So we'll be moving on to that. And then the fifth topic, Houston Outlaws and Raucus. Don't know what the situation over there is. Definitely got some weird stuff going on. We've covered that in my channel, but I want to hear your opinion as a former support professional player. And then moving on to the last topic of the video, we will be giving our top 5 teams for week 1, and we'll be discussing that and breaking everything down. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be the show, guys. We'll be doing this every single week, as I said, so let me know down in the comments what you think about it.
Every Monday, right? Every Monday or what?
Every Monday.
Right,
yep, the day after the league. So first topic, we're jumping into the Dallas Fuel. First and foremost, I'll just go ahead and break down the series. Yesterday, we started it off on Control. It was back and forth. I mean, that first map was close, right? I didn't know who was going to take it. In the end, the Dallas Fuel, they did come out on top. I wasn't, like, too set back. I wasn't thinking, oh, Dallas Fuel are going to go away with this series. They're going to win. Because the Seoul Dynasty in their first set against the LA Gladiators, they got rolled by LA on Elios. Like, 200-0. They didn't even, like, cap. So I wasn't like too worried. I figured they would kick it into high gear on the next few maps. Hangzhou came, and wow. It was close. It was back and forth, man. Both teams got 3 points, forced an overtime round, and in that overtime round, our boy AKM, the Lord and Savior of Dallas Fuel, had this incredible 3K on Widowmaker, pretty much saved the map and put them up 2-0 in the set. And at that point, I was like, okay, Seoul Dynasty, you're in trouble, right? Dallas Field's looking good. AKM's playing great. We move on to Volskaya, and oh no, wait a second. They decided to take AKM out, and they put back in Effect, who we will talk about. Hasn't really been playing that well this season, and honestly, I don't know. I don't like him in there on that Zarya over AKM, and they lost it. Then we moved on to that fourth and final map, which was Rialto, and Dallas Field, they were the better team there. AKM was back in there. He might have been getting his grabs eaten almost every single time, but hell, when you're building them every freaking 30 seconds, it don't matter. You're just launching them out at that point. So our boy AKM really showed up yesterday. Definitely a big topic here. Overall, what do you think about the sets?
All right, this is what I want to talk about. This is the 2 things I've gotten from the series. So the first thing I want to talk about is AKM. Obviously, he's like everyone's impressed with him, right? You said he was playing Widow, correct? Got that 3K? And then he's playing Zarya. That's the thing that impressed me the most. He's playing Zarya at a very high level, also flexing to his other DPS heroes. So he's getting like average energy, 75%. He's doing so much work, and he's really impressed. I'm really impressed by his play. And this is the next thing I want to talk about. I thought Seoul Dynasty going into this match were going to completely destroy them, like you did. I'm not gonna lie, I did.
Yeah.
They look like the better team. They look like they dominated the LA Gladiators. Like. They fixed all their mistakes. So going into this, I thought they were going to destroy Dallas Fuel. But then Dallas Fuel beats them with Effect, not playing that good either. So that's another thing I want to talk about is Effect's performance. So what do you have to say about that with the Zarya?
I'd say Effect has been lackluster. I think he doesn't really understand his role within the team. because we noticed during the last season that he had like this, oh, I'm the carry, I need to do everything for this team mentality or we lose. And I'm not too sure if like he's ever gotten off of that like mentality. All the drama he's been through, all the stuff, I feel like during the offseason he wasn't really focused on Overwatch and Dallas Fuel and like how can he become a better player. Maybe he was a little bit. To me it more seemed like, how do I get past my own anxieties? How do I get past my own issues? How do I not be, you know, depressed and unhappy with life in general? I feel like he was focused on things like that rather than like the actual team and how he needs to work with the team, because he just looked like he wasn't really a part of the team. He's off on his own, not doing the right things. He's not making the plays they need. Well, then you put AKM in there and he's just like lasering people. And he looked great on Widowmaker. And AKM in the past, Widowmaker's been one of his heroes that, yeah, he's a really good hit scan. You know, his McCree's great. He's a good soldier. But the Widowmaker was the hero that he could never pop off like Taimu did. But that 3K was incredible, and that was at like the most clutch time. So I loved seeing AKM in there. I really want to see him in there over Effect on that Zarya and that Widowmaker role. I just don't see the reason why you would want to swap them at this point, because AKM's obviously playing better. Putting in Effect just changes up, you know, the players you have in there, the communication structure and all that stuff. So I really think they should just stick with AKM while they kind of nurture Effect and let him sit on the sidelines for now. That's my opinion on it.
Do you believe Effect came back a little too early? Or do you think he needed a little bit more time? Or I
genuinely thought Effect should have taken a full season off. I said this during the offseason when he was having like his breakdowns and stuff, that he should genuinely take a full season off. Or at least like half of the next season. I know he took stage 4 off, but I don't think that did anything for him. I think that just made it worse, because Dallas Fuel, the first 3 stages, Effect was, he was there, and they were horrible. Like, they were the laughingstock of the league. He doesn't play for them in stage 4. Dallas Fuel's one of the best teams. They make the playoffs, almost beat New York Excelsior. Did it all without him. So, you know, I feel like that hurts his mentality even more. And I feel like that would have, I think he should have just taken more of a break. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree, but I also want to talk about Seoul Dynasty here. They looked incredible. Honestly, they looked incredible against LA, but they come here and they lose 3-1 to Dallas Fuel. I thought they had it all solved out. I was watching their videos. I'm like, yo, all right. Michael's saying that the man himself saying, you know, they're gonna destroy Dallas Fuel. So what happened there? Why didn't they flop so hard on the set?
So I look at the Seoul Dynasty over the offseason. They fixed every issue on paper that they had during Season 1. Yeah. They had too many coaches, and they didn't really, like, I feel like they weren't coaching the team properly, like taking Jae-Hong off the flex support role. He was very clearly the best flex support on that team, putting him on main tank and stuff. So they fixed the coaching situation. They went and got the guy from London Spitfire that just won a championship. They, you know, got rid of half the guys. Now they have a smaller coaching staff, so less opinions and stuff. I figured that would be good for them. They also fixed their main tank situation. You know, they didn't have that great of a main tank throughout last season. They have Fisher now. And he looked like a god against LA Gladiators.
Oh, he looked amazing, man.
And just overall, they looked really good against the LA Gladiators. And the fact that the LA Gladiators are Fisher's ex-team maybe plays a part in that. Because if we saw during Season 1, every time Fisher went against the London Spitfire, he destroyed them. And at the end of the day, maybe London Spitfire were the better team. But they just couldn't beat their old player Fisher. Maybe Fisher just has this thing where, like, I can't lose to my old team.
It's a mental thing.
I know he has like a really big ego, and I don't know if he puts like more work and just all of his time and effort into making sure he beat the LA Gladiators, and then they kind of just didn't like prepare that hard for the Dallas Fuel. Maybe it was that, but overall Dallas Fuel did look good, and it was a close match despite it being 3-1. Every single map could have gone in the favor of Seoul Dynasty. Just one team fight went differently, you know?
I have a question for you for this specific set. Do you think this win will boost Dallas Fuel with their later games? And same with Seoul Dynasty. Do you think this loss will hurt them with their mentality and their confidence going down? Like, do you think this is like a slope for Dallas Fuel to rise and Seoul Dynasty to fall? Or do you think like they'll regroup?
It's definitely possible, because we saw that exact scenario last season with these two teams. The very first game that these two teams played last season was against each other. Dallas Fuel ended up losing that in a very close fashion, extremely close, and they just like went down. Well, Seoul Dynasty, they won that game, and they kind of went up for the beginning part of the first stage. It looked like they were going to be in the stage playoffs that stage, but they didn't. They ended up choking near the end there. But yeah, we kind of saw that like down and upward spiral for the team that won. So maybe it could. You never know. I do think that was a huge win for the Dallas Fuel. If they do lose that in a close fashion, we could be sitting in a scenario where we can see them just snowballing out of control like they did last season. So I'm glad they won that. That's why I got the Dallas Fuel hat on. I'm happy for them.
All right, you got the Dallas Fuel hat on, but let's talk about that jersey that you got on, the London Spitfire.
Yeah,
what the hell is going
Champs.
on with the London Spitfire? They look like utter trash, and I'm sorry, these guys are your reigning champions. This is what the league has to show for in season 1. Oh, come on, man. What the hell is going on with London, Michael?
So, I think London, they're in a situation where they had 2 bad games. I think either the coaching staff didn't prepare them properly, or we just had some miscommunication. Teamwork was off a little bit. A bad week kind of is what sums it up for me. Do I think the London Spitfire are a bad team? Are they not going to make the playoffs? Are they not going to be the champions again? No. They probably will be our champions again. But if not, they're going to go to the playoffs and they're going to go deep. We've seen this roster time in and time again look like absolute crap. We've seen it happen.
That's true. That's true.
But you want to know what? Every single time they need to win when it matters, a stage match, a playoff, they show up. They do what needs to be done when it matters. Yes, they came into the league. Their goats looked really bad. Reinhardt, Gesture didn't look like the best Reinhardt player. Birdring struggled a little bit on the Zarya. Bedosin was getting picked a lot by Boombox. I get it. There were some mistakes here and there. Prophet can't carry on the Brigitte. Maybe the meta will change. But my thing is, it's the London Spitfire. If somebody wants to doubt the London Spitfire, doubt them. But I will not.
Okay,
I will not.
Listen. What you're preaching is very good, but you're saying, they have to, change. They have to get better. They're making mistakes. They have to fix their mistakes. But guess what? They need to fix their mistakes ASAP because every regular season game counts now. If they keep losing, they might not make the playoffs.
Are you saying London's not going to make the playoffs?
Hey, I'm just talking about what they're at now, and right now they're at the bottom. And can we talk about this whole Birdring being subbed in by Guard? What the hell is going on there? Like, they're going to lose faith after one game? One game? Birdring was the DPS player.
What are you saying? The coaching staff made a bad decision?
I think you gotta keep your faith in with the roster that you had, and they're going in with Guard for they're saying it's because of the Sombra, blah blah blah. But like I said, I know a team when they're trying to remove a player, put him down to let a new star rise. They're trying to set up Guard. That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing.
You're an ex-pro player. Certain players can't play that exact role or that exact hero that you need in a certain scenario or a certain composition on a certain map. Guard is known for his Sombra. He used to play for Element Mystic back in Korean Contenders when they were a top team, and he was one of the best DPS players and known for his Sombra. If you want to run Sombra goats, it makes sense to put Guard in there. What are you trying to push Birdring out?
But what happened? What happened game 1? What happened game 1? Birdring played not a good Zarya. They went back home. They're like, okay, Birdring, this is your mistake, your mistake, your mistake, your mistake, your mistake, your mistake. That was their drawing board. Let's
what
just
are you even talking
Birdring.
about? Remove him then. He played like crap during season 1 anyways. What does it matter? That might even be the right decision.
Before
I'm not
profits
saying,
rise.
I'm not saying that's what they were doing. No, be quiet. I am not. I'm talking.
Go ahead.
I am not saying that's what the London Spitfire are doing. They're trying to push Birdring out. I don't even know why this became a discussion. It's obvious they wanted to play Sombra for Guard because he's known for that. But if for some reason Birdring isn't performing, I'm all for giving Guard a shot.
One game? After one game?
Maybe it was their strategy, but you want to know what? During Season 1, Birdring, during Stages 3 and 4, and a little bit at the end of 2, he underperformed massively. He was the star DPS player of the league going into Season 1. Birdring MVP, Birdring MVP, Birdring. By the end of the season, nobody was talking about Birdring. Nobody gave a crap. Oh, wrist injury. Okay, maybe he got a wrist injury.
Who was the guy picking Carpe in the finals, though? Yeah.
What?
Who was the guy picking Carpe?
Who won MVP? Who won
Profit.
MVP?
I'm not taking anything away from Profit. I'm not taking anything away from Profit.
Yeah, Birdring turned up in the playoffs.
He did. And that's why they should remain loyal to their players. They shouldn't just sub him out.
Okay,
I see it. We'll see what happens. We'll see next week what happens. If Guard is playing Zarya, we'll see, and we'll come back to the show next week I was correct.
So you're telling me if London Spitfire plays Guard, they're going to lose? Is that the problem here?
But
that's what it seems like.
They're starting over. They're starting over. It's not good.
What's the issue with playing Guard? What's your issue with playing Guard? What's the problem?
I have a problem with switching out your players on a championship roster. It doesn't make sense. They have so much synergy together. Once you remove a player, you change the entire
can't
dynamics.
Play Sombra at the same level as Guard.
But could he play good enough?
Does that matter? They have a better player at the Sombra. We're early into the season. You have a small roster anyways. It's an 8-man roster. It's fine to give your third DPS player a game here or there. Look at the San Francisco Shock switching out a player every fucking 3 minutes. Excuse my language.
That is true. All
right. Let's move on now. We'll see. I think London Spitfire are fine. I think you're over-exaggerating with this whole Guard situation and saying they're in trouble.
We'll see what happens.
Okay, let's move on now. We're talking about how good is the Atlanta Reign and the Hangzhou Spark. Right. You go ahead and start it off here.
I think, personally, that Philadelphia Fusion is the #1 team in the league. So, with regards to my standard of who the top player, the top team is, being Philadelphia Fusion, Atlanta Reign, they almost took him down. They went to a Game 5 with, in my opinion, one of the best teams in the league. So, I have to put them in my top 5. Now, in regards to Spark, I know you probably think they're a really good team, probably in your top 5. Monte Cristo has them at 2. Listen, could they really compete with the big dogs? Who in the world did they beat? They beat LA Valiant and they beat Shanghai. They almost lost to Valiant. And I'm not even going to start with Valiant. You might think they're good from last season, but I won't even go there. Shanghai, yeah, new team, still the same organization. They need to compete with the big dogs. I want to see them against Reign. I want to see them against New York Excelsior. I want to see them against Boston Uprising. I want to see them against Shock. I want to see them against the top dogs. And honestly, Atlanta Reign going 3-2.
So are you saying that Boston Uprising is a top dog and the LA Valiant aren't?
I'm saying that Boston Uprising...
You just said you want to see them against the Boston Uprising, but you didn't care about their match against the LA Valiant.
I don't know what's going on. The Valiant, they always start weak. Honestly, they always start weak. That happened in Season 1. They put all these players together. They're mixed up with roles. I mean, they have a tank on their Lucio. Like, what are they doing? You have to admit this, too. Like, they always mix up with roles. They have this supposedly the best Zenyatta player, and he's not even doing any work.
I thought Izayaki looked okay. For his first match ever, I thought he played fine.
Yeah, what about DeFran in his first match ever?
It's his first...
He was absolutely insane.
It's DeFran. It's Florida Mayhem. You comparing the Florida Mayhem and the LA Valiant,
and
really?
Fusion. Don't forget about that.
Well, we haven't seen the LA Valiant go up against... Can't make that comparison, and that was his second match.
Let's go back to Spark.
That was his second match, and Izayaki's only played 1.
Let's go back to Spark.
We're talking about this. Okay, we'll save LA Valiant, or we'll save the Atlanta Reign for later. The LA Valiant... There's no reason they wouldn't be at least a top 12 team.
Okay.
There's no reason they're not.
I agree with that. They're probably top 12. But are they my top 5, top 6? No.
No, yeah, LA Valiant's not my top 5 either. But Hangzhou Spark is because of their performance against the LA Valiant.
That's what I'm saying. By you saying that, you're putting the Spark up top, and you're also raising the Valiant standard up top. Just because this team beat that team doesn't mean they're one of the best teams in the world now.
The LA Valiant are the reigning stage champions. They won the last stage, stage 4. Yeah. They're the champions, and They remain with most of that roster. They've
After
made
how
some
many
changes.
stages though? After how many stages? It took some time to build up to that. It did. It took some time. At first, they were confused. Agilities in and out. Oh my god, we don't know if you're a starter or not. They were just confused, man.
They were confused, but still, the performance wasn't that bad. I get it's a weird decision. Kuki out of nowhere playing main support over Custa.
Where's Custa?
I don't know. That's a topic in the video. We can talk about that now. I have no idea where Custa is. So this person who goes by their Twitter name is EMGTFY. They're associate editor with the Overwatch League. That's what their bio says. This person tweeted this out. About Kuki starting today. He was asked to practice Lucio about 3 weeks ago with the aim of introducing more flexibility to the team's lineup and the current meta. The coaches liked his ult tracking alongside Fate's shot calling. They said that he thinks he did alright considering he was debuting in a new role. I personally thought his Lucio play was a pleasant surprise, and I appreciate the returning teams trying to diversify their comps beyond what we know they can already do.
If that is true, and they want to push Custer to the side, I just can't do it anymore. They're obviously confused. They do this every single time. They bring these guys. You do this. You transfer. You're a DPS player. Oh, you're going to tank now. You're a tank. You go to Lucy. Like, what are they doing? What? And this is a team that, Spark beat them, barely beat them 3-2. You're going to say, since they beat them, great performance, they're all the way up there. Atlanta Reign went toe-to-toe with Philadelphia Fusion. Toe-to-toe. Almost won.
They did.
Almost
They
won.
didn't, though. They didn't win. There's a big
did.
difference. There's a big difference from winning in Game 5 and losing in Game 5. We also saw Atlanta Reign run some crazy Torb strategy. Are you really going to try to win a map 5 third round playing Torb? That's not going to work, and it didn't work.
But you got to give them some guts, though. They tried, though. They tried.
Okay, but I think that comes down to just a bad coaching decision. Yeah, you got to give them credit and say, yeah, they have balls for running that. Yeah, they do have balls for running it. But it's their team and their coaching staff or DeFran or whoever wants to run it, putting the team in a bad position to win because they have a weaker comp running a Torb. As soon as DeFran switched off Torb, the comp was completely broken. He was running around on Tracer with his head off, and the team just was never doing anything together.
I agree. No, you're right. They are very inexperienced.
And that gave the win to Philly.
They are very inexperienced, you're right, but that just shows how good they are. They're still inexperienced, and they're still going to map 5 with Fusion.
Well, and that's my point. The Hangzhou Spark are also inexperienced. They're also an expansion team, and they're going to Game 5 with a team that was almost as good as the Philadelphia Fusion last season, and they won. That's my point.
But can they?
And their players looked impressive.
They did. They had a great Zarya. I mean, great Diva. He looked like he was Polka out there. I ain't gonna lie. And
Rhea was playing incredible. No Smite was hitting incredible Earth Shatters, and the fact that they have No Smite and Ghost Shui as their main tanks, these guys, their main tank roles are stacked. They have 2 of the probably top 5 main tanks in the world right now on their team.
I just want to see the Spark against New York Excelsior, Fusion, and let's just go Atlanta. Let's just see the head-to-head. I want to see these 3 games.
Hangzhou Spark would be at Atlanta. It'd be a close set, but Hangzhou Spark would win.
I don't think so. I think
they're more complete. No, they're a more complete team.
We'll see what happens.
It's about being a team. The Hangzhou Spark, they have the previous experience of being together. Atlanta's still a new team. They're inexperienced. Their coaching is questionable. So I say the Hangzhou Spark's better.
I think Atlanta's better, but we'll agree to disagree.
I won't agree to disagree. Hangzhou Spark's better. But
no.
Hangzhou Spark is better. We'll move on. We just talked about LA Valiant and Custa. We don't really need to get into that anymore. I don't know. Weird decision. Cookie looked okay. It's hard to judge if he did good or not, but Custa does have a big impact for teams. We know this from Season 1. Yeah. He's a good leader. He's got good communication. He's a mature guy. So I feel like, you can still have that in the team. Kind of like a Mickey thing. If he doesn't play, he can still have an impact on the team's mentality. But I feel like he's starting material.
Would you make that decision though if you're running stuff with LA Valiant?
It's hard to say because we're not there, but obviously outside looking in, it's like no, I would run Custa because he's proven, and the team just had a stage 4 that was incredible. Unfortunately, they ran into the champions in the playoffs and they got rolled and smoked like everybody else, but they still had a great stage 4 and they still looked really good. So no, I don't think I would make that decision.
All right. So, what's next?
Moving on now, let's talk about the Houston Outlaws and Raucus. Yeah.
Do the face. Alright, let's talk about it.
So, Raucus, you watched my video yesterday. Everybody watching this probably seen my video yesterday. I don't know what the guy's doing. I never played Zenyatta professionally. I know you dabbled in it a little bit. So maybe you could give us some insight on what he was trying to do, maybe what was going on through his brain at the time.
All right, I'm not going to lie. When I first saw the clips, the first clip, I'm like, okay, maybe he's trying to make a play. It wasn't, it's a mistake, but maybe I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, right? Maybe he's just trying to make a play. He just because he's so experienced, he's like, I could do this. It didn't work out. Okay, next clip. Raucus is such a good player, quote unquote. Like I always thought that Raucus is good. You always thought Raucus is good. So maybe it's to Lucio's fault. Maybe the Lucio's like not kiting with him, not helping him, not peeling for him. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But when I just see clip after clip after clip, I'm just like, Raucus, what in the world are you doing? What in the world are you doing?
Yeah, I don't get it either. I know you said I thought Raucus was good. I've been hesitant about Raucus for a while now. Ever since like stage 2 of last season, he just doesn't seem to be like an Overwatch League Zenyatta material. And I don't know what's going on in the Houston Outlaws and why they continue to let him play, or they don't try to sign better players. They made one addition over the offseason, and that was Dante. There's a lot of rumors of, Flame being the GM and just signing his friends to the team. But Raucus really is just underwhelming, and I don't know what's going on in his brain. But once you like go off on the side and you peek, and you go for those orb shots to try to get a one shot on the other Zenyatta, you gotta understand in your head, like, all right, I just exposed myself, and my team's way over there. Maybe I should back up. Maybe I could like create a bait play where I make myself look juicy, but then I'm gone, and then my team can pinch and get that guy who went out of his way to get me.
You're talking about Volsky when he's on high ground, right?
Yeah, like on Hollywood. But instead, he just goes back up to the high ground and peaks again.
No, it's not smart. As a support player, your goal is to literally, your first goal is to remain alive. You are if you die as a support player, your team is literally 90% bound to lose. Second is you want to keep your teammates up. You don't want to go for these crazy plays. I mean, yeah, you want to add damage, but you don't want to go flank. I mean, your life is way too important for that. You have other players on your team to do those plays for you. You do not need to make your own plays as a Zenyatta, and especially with goats. I mean, who are you going to kill?
Exactly, especially in this meta. Like, Zenyatta is the most crucial hero, besides maybe Reinhardt and Goats, where, like, if you're dead, your team's going to be in trouble. You don't have that Discord orb for damage. You don't have pretty much any heals besides Lucio if he's down. It's big trouble if you lose Zenyatta. And to be going off on your own trying to make those plays, it's mind-boggling. I don't know what he's thinking. And it's really cool having this command center thing to know that he's actually making these plays over and over, and it's shocking. It's shocking at the very least.
Yeah, it is. It's not good. Not a good look for Houston right now.
Yeah, I don't think they're looking good. I think they slid into the bottom 5 teams for sure. I already had them at 16, so we'll just have to see what they do. But that's pretty much it for that. Let's go and move on now to the final topic. And you know what that is, right?
What is it, top 5?
Top 5.
Top 5. You go first, man.
Well, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and give them at the same time, then we'll discuss them together. So, all right, so I'll start off with my top 5 in no particular order, sort of. We have New York Excelsior, Philadelphia Fusion, Hangzhou Spark, Vancouver Titans, and then the LA Gladiators sliding in there. I say sort of not in order because LA Gladiators is kind of the only one that I'm not 100% sure on, but the other 4, I believe they're top 5 right now based off their performances. What about you?
Honestly, it's so hard because everyone is like, honestly, the Overwatch League is looking like a circus right now. Everyone's beating each other. It's just like, if you beat that team, you might think that you're better than the team that beat that team, but then that team beats you. So you're like, oh my god, like what the hell is going on? So it's really hard to do right now. But if I have to try, there's always a constant. It's always New York. That they're always like, a top 5 team, right? They're always up there. So obviously
top
New York,
3, top 2, yeah.
Yeah, New York for sure. I gotta go with Philadelphia Fusion after. This might sound like a surprise, but I am going with Gladiators, and I think they're going to be so much better when Bishu comes in. He adds so much to the team. So that's my 3 right now. Let's see, what's my 4th? My 4th, I'm going to go with Atlanta Reigns. Put him in there.
Are you picking them on the spot right now? What's so hard about this? Are you picking your teams right now? You didn't come prepared?
I did come prepared, and you know what? I'm gonna go with Seoul Dynasty.
Who's your 5? Okay,
I'm going with Seoul Dynasty.
Repeat your 5, because I didn't.
New York.
I forgot.
New York, Philadelphia, Seoul Dynasty, Gladiators, and Atlanta. Those are my 5.
Wow.
Right now.
So you're putting Seoul Dynasty in your top 5, even though they just lost to the Dallas.
Listen, you're putting Vancouver in. They haven't even played against.
They didn't lose. They didn't lose.
They played against Shanghai. Shanghai. Like, come on. You need to.
And they rolled them. It wasn't even close.
Did. But who have they rolled besides that?
Who did Seoul Dynasty roll? Nobody.
They rolled the Gladiators.
They didn't roll them. They didn't roll them. They didn't roll them.
It was a good game. It was a good match. I'm not gonna lie.
It was close-ish. It wasn't a roll. Vancouver rolled Shanghai 4-0.
But the thing is, I'm looking at Seoul Dynasty on paper. You said it yourself. They fixed all their mistakes. I just need to think they need more time together. They just need to synchronize a little bit more.
This isn't who's going to be top 5 in the long run. This is who's top 5 after week 1.
I'm still gonna put them there. I think the Dallas Field thing was a complete flop. It was a fluke.
It was a fluke. So you think Dallas? What do you think about Dallas Field then? You think they suck still?
I don't think they're that good, man. Yeah, I still think they're not.
Wow.
That good.
Wow, Dallas Field take down the Seoul Dynasty, and Motorius says that they're still not good.
Yeah, but then they lost.
Roast him in the comments, boys. Dallas.
And look, AKM is amazing. AKM is amazing, but dude, they got 4-0.
You weren't saying that last season. You weren't saying that last
season. You know, they got 4-0 by shock, but I mean, Fusion's obviously my best. We all know that. Fusion.
They're top 5, yeah.
They're top 5 for sure.
New York's top 5, we agree.
Who's
Atlanta Reign?
Yeah.
Really?
The Hangzhou Spark? The Spark? Like, what are you talking about?
They're 2-0.
Against who? Shanghai and
LA Valiant.
Oh my! The same team that have all these roles mixed up. You have your Lucio on tank. You don't have Costa.
They beat 2 top 12 teams. Who did the Atlanta Reign beat? Probably the worst team in the league, Florida Mayhem.
They beat Florida,
and they lost to Philly.
They lost, but in what way? They lost on the last map of the last map.
You're putting a team that basically is 0-1 in your top 5.
They're not 0. Okay.
They're basically 0. Anybody would have beat the Florida Mayhem. Anyone would have beat the Florida Mayhem. Anybody.
Listen, they're inexperienced, but
Florida Mayhem's the worst team in the league.
You have to see what they did against Fusion. It was amazing. It was literally amazing. Better than your London Spitfire, what you got on right now.
They're the champs. Give them a break. Give them a break. Calm down. Am I putting London in my top 5? No, I'm not.
But who's gonna win the finals this season?
Probably London. This isn't who's gonna win the finals. Who's gonna win your finals for you then?
Different. I'm joking. I don't know. We'll see when we get there.
Who's gonna win?
We'll see when we get there.
What do you mean you see when we get there? Make your prediction. I made
mine.
Right
now?
Yes, right now.
Go in New York, man. Hometown.
How cliche. How cliche.
Hold on.
New York.
I want to go back to your top 5. So please tell me why you think the Vancouver Titans are in your top 5. Be honest, like completely. On paper and how they performed against Shanghai.
Did you watch their match? They looked incredible.
They did.
We've heard a lot of people talk about how Philadelphia Fusion's GOATs hasn't looked that great. London's didn't. Atlanta's didn't when they were up against Philly. Well, you want to know whose GOATs I watched that looked phenomenal? The Vancouver Titans.
That's true.
Absolutely flawless.
But you think they could beat any of the
teams?
The
team wasn't that good, but I think the Shanghai Dragons are a decent team. I think they will get a win next week.
But can the Vancouver Titans beat anybody in your top 5?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who could they beat?
They could beat any of them.
So you just think it just depends on the match? Anybody could beat anybody, right?
Oh yeah. In my top 5, I feel like anybody has a chance at winning a game. I just see game 5s between all of them and whoever.
And that's what's so good about Overwatch League. Honestly, anybody could beat anybody at any time. Like Shanghai could beat Fusion. Like you never know what could happen. It's crazy. I love being an Overwatch fan.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, you said it. You pretty much wrapped it up there. Overwatch League's been amazing. The first week was phenomenal. I loved every single game there was.
Viewers, we're getting so many viewers.
Viewership was amazing. Pretty much 200K average almost. I loved it. I had a great time. I love making these videos. I'm glad I could bring you on here. You guys want to check out Motorius? Go ahead and shout yourself out. What's your social medias, your YouTube and stuff?
The Motorius on Twitter. Follow me on that.
All right. And that's going to be it, guys. Thank you for watching. We're out of here. Peace.